Hello, welcome back. I am recording this story as part of one of our Latin and classics lessons. But if you're not taking part in that lesson from school today, then it's just a really fantastic story from mythology. So today we're going to get straight into it, and I am going to tell you the story of Perseus, the hero Perseus and Medusa. And you can see in the picture there, this is a really famous statue of the hero Perseus here, holding up the head of the horrific gorgon monster Medusa. So, are you sitting comfortably? Let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a very angry king, and his name was Polydectes. And he was madly in love with Danae. Now, Danae is Perseus's mother, and they had been through a lot together. They had sailed across the sea. They'd been cast away from their homeland, and King Polydectes was desperate to marry Danae. He kept asking over and over, and as you can see, Danae not interested. All she was interested in was looking after her beloved son, Perseus. Now, Perseus began as a baby. As I say, they were cast away from their homeland when Perseus was just a baby. And Perseus actually had grown into a strong young man, strong, heroic, and he was desperate to look after his mother. He loved her dearly, and he actually wanted to protect her from King Polydectes. So, Polydectes didn't like this at all. He didn't like Perseus because actually Perseus really was stopping him from being able to marry Danae. And Polydectes thought to himself, I've got to get rid of this Perseus. If I can get rid of Perseus, then I will be free to marry Danae. Now, in order to do this, in order to get rid of Perseus for good, he could kill him. But what he did instead was set him an impossible challenge. He knew that if he killed Perseus himself, or if his soldiers killed Perseus, then Danae would hate him even more and would never marry him. So instead, what he did was he set Perseus an impossible challenge that he knew was not survivable. He set Perseus the challenge of killing the evil gorgon Medusa. And a gorgon is a type of monster with snakes for hair and green, scaly skin. And the gorgons had a magic power, and the magic power was that if you look directly into a gorgon's eyes, you will turn to stone. So, King Polydectes sent Perseus off to kill the Queen Gorgon Medusa. And he wanted Perseus to bring back Medusa's head. And you can see in the statue there, he was successful. But how did it happen? When Perseus was first set the challenge of bringing back the Gorgon Medusa's head, he didn't know what to do. He thought, I can never survive this mission. And so he prayed to the gods. He prayed and he prayed, and he was desperate for help and advice. If he didn't have help, he would never be able to survive this mission and return to his beloved mother. And luckily, the gods listened. So, the gods helped him on his way. Hermes, the messenger of the gods, helped him. Athena, goddess of wisdom, war, strategy, and the arts, helped Perseus. And Hades, god of the underworld and ruler of the dead, also helped Perseus. They gave him gifts. Now, Hermes gave Perseus his winged sandals so that he could fly. And he also gave him a magic sword. Athena, goddess of war, gave Perseus the shiniest shield that she had. And Hades, god of the underworld, gave Perseus a helmet of invisibility. And you can see in this picture here that Perseus is ready to go. He's got his shield from Athena. He's got his sword from Hermes. And he's also got his winged sandals so that he can fly. Now, there was one more thing that Perseus needed to succeed in his mission to kill the gorgon Medusa, to behead her. And he needed a sack, a bag. Now, Hades, god of the underworld, helped Perseus to get hold of this magic sack. He had to have a magic sack that was strong enough to hold Medusa's head so that he could fly back to his homeland once he had killed her, once he'd cut off her head. Now, Hades advised Perseus to fly to a faraway island and meet these three sisters. They are called the Graii, the three sisters. And they lived on an island all alone, and they only had one eye between them. And Hades said to Perseus, if you fly to this island and you speak to the Graii and you steal their one eye, they will be so desperate to get this eye back that they will do almost anything for you. So that's just what Perseus did. He put on his winged sandals. You can see them here, the winged sandals that he got from the messenger to the gods, Hermes, and he flew all the way across the seas to the island where the Graii lived. And he snuck up on them and he stole their one eye that they shared. And they were so angry and so desperate to get the eye back that they begged Perseus. And Perseus asked, in return for their eye back, asked them to make a magic sack that was big enough and strong enough to hold the head of the evil gorgon Medusa. Now, Medusa had actually once upon a time been a really beautiful young woman, but she was proud and she was cruel, and this made the gods really angry, so they punished her. They punished her by turning her into a gorgon with a hissing mass of snakes for hair and scaly green skin, and the stare that turns anybody who makes eye contact into stone immediately. So Perseus flies using his winged sandals from Hermes over the seas, and he finally arrives at an island. And he sneaks in across the beach, through the dense forest, searching high and low for the Gorgon sisters. There were three of them. Now Perseus only needed to kill one, Medusa, the queen of the Gorgons. Eventually, he found all three Gorgons sleeping in a dank, dark cave. They were snoring on the floor of the cave, their mass of hissing green snakes around their head. Now Perseus had to creep silently. And as you can see here, he had to use his shield from Athena, which was shiny and reflective. He used it like a mirror, and he walked backwards towards the Gorgon Medusa, taking great care not to make any noise. all the time he was using his shield and looking in the reflection so he could see behind him. He got closer and closer till eventually he was less than a foot, less than a metre away. She was snoring. Perseus was terrified. One false move and she would wake up and turn him to stone forever. And he would never return to his beloved mother and save her from evil King Polydectes. He took a deep breath and he drew his magic sword from its sheath tied around his belt. He raised the sword high, taking great care not to look directly at Medusa. Remember, he's using his shield. He raised the sword high and he brought it down, severing Medusa's head from her body. He reached behind him, still not looking, and put the head into the magic bag that had been made for him by the Graiai. And again, sneaking carefully so as not to wake up the other two gorgons, he snuck out of the dank, dark cave back into the sunlight. As he reached daylight again, he breathed a huge sigh of relief and used his magic sandals from Hermes, there they are, to fly all the way back to the island where his mother and King Polydectes were. Now, Perseus went back to the palace, and actually Polydectes was very surprised to see him. Remember, Polydectes thought that he would die on this mission so that Polydectes could marry Danae. Perseus reached into the bag and said, "I have achieved my mission." And he held out the head of Medusa in front of King Polydectes, and instantly the evil king was turned to stone, and Perseus was free to rescue his mother. The end.